All right, we should be back in the building. Oh shoot, I'm not ready. I can't even see y'all in the chat. A shout out to everyone that's in here. Happy Friday morning. Hopefully y'all are doing well this morning. Welcome back to another YouTube live stream. We're looking all crispy and clean on the screen. And welcome back to another episode of the ClassE Morning Show. I'm your host, ClassE, at patreon.com/ClasseBeats. And we're going to get into the show today. It's going to be a quick live stream today. We got a lot of news for you. We're going to talk a little bit about Karen Reed. We'll talk some about Diddy and what's going on in the trial today. What happened yesterday? We got a motion for a mistrial from the Honorable Attorney Brian Steele. So it's going to be interesting to see what's going on there. But before I get to that, I got to say what's up to the people. Shout out to everyone who's in here, by the way. I got to make sure my chat is working because for some reason, I cannot see y'all over here. So give me a second. Hold on. Let me see if I can get the chat in the building. Oh, yeah, there we go. Y'all know what time it is. Shout out to my awesome, amazing Amy in here, showing up first thing in the morning. I see you in there. Shout out to Amy. We got Les Cleaver in the building. Shout out to Les Cleaver. We've also got Slim Life New Jersey's in here. We've got Libby22, SC Girl is in the building. Shout out to all the members in the building as well. Y'all give me 1 second. For some reason, I'm having some issues right now. Hold on. There we go. We should be all good. Appreciate all of y'all who are in here. Thank you to the over 100 plus of you that have liked the video so far. I don't ask for much on this show, but I do ask that you guys take a second and like the video. Not only is it free, not only does it help the show continue to grow, but it lets the algorithm know that you guys are enjoying the show, and it shares the video and the channel out with more people. So thank you to everyone who's already done that. I appreciate y'all so much for showing love. Great morning. It is a great morning. Good to see y'all in here. Also, I will be reading super chats as we go throughout the show as well. So let me go ahead and get into a couple of those. Let me see. I know we had one over on the Cash App. And I believe that was my guy, Les Cleaver. Let me see. Shout out to Les Cleaver over on the Cash App. He dropped a 5-bomb and he says, oh, his new profile pic is his dog Bentley looking better. Oh yeah, shout out to shout out to Bentley. Les said he's better looking than him. Nah, I think Bentley is cute, Les, but we know you got all the good looks in the family. And also shout out to Les Cleaver dropping a 5-bomb over on the super chat. He says, thank God it's Friday. Have a great weekend, all. God bless you all. Be safe, have fun, be loved, and relax. I'll see you on the break at lunch. Shout out to Les Cleaver. It's going to be a quick live stream today, Les, so we probably will not be here at lunchtime, but thank you for being in the building. Also, we've got my awesome, amazing Amy with the cake already. You know, I'm always in the mood for some cake. Shout out to Amy. Thank you for being in here. Thank you for the love. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you for everything that you do. So much support. Everything that y'all see going on here on the channel, Amy has such a big part and a big hand in what we're doing here. So thank you so much for that, Amy. And thank you for everything that you do. I appreciate you. Shout out to Amy. We've also got, did I say what's up to Libby? What's up, Libby? Good to see you in here as well. Dennis Byron's in the building checking in. Shout out to Dennis. He's out there reporting live for the Diddy trial. So if y'all haven't yet, make sure you go check him out. Go support him. Go show him some love. Excellent content creator and an elite investigative reporter. So y'all go show some love to my guy, Dennis Byron. Melissa R is in here. We got Shawnee. We got Mixed Love in here early this morning. She must be off today. What's up, Mixed Love? We've got D Hollins in the building too. Good to see all of y'all as well. All right, we're going to go ahead and get into it. As I told you guys, this is going to be a short live stream today. So if you haven't yet, please make sure you like the video and we'll go ahead and get into our first topic. So first up, let me make sure I get this back on the screen and we should be good. Boom. Here we go. So first up, we have some news concerning what's going on in the Diddy trial. Brian Steele just asked for a mistrial. We're going to find out why here in a second. Of course, shout out to Megan Cuniff. She's the one who posted the transcripts over on X. So make sure y'all go follow her and show some support and love as well. Let's see what's going on, why Brian Steele asked for a mistrial. And then we're going to get back into what happened during Kid Cudi's testimony so we can maybe see for ourselves what was being said there. All right. So Megan says Sean Diddy Combs' lawyer, Brian Steele, asked for a mistrial today after prosecution asked Kid Cudi if he had safety concerns. Diddy's bond's already been denied, so I don't even know why they would ask that question. Steele told the judge at sidebar, the answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed. Dang. This is an outrageous question. What does he say? Here's the transcript. They're at sidebar. Mr. Steele says, may I? The court says yes. Your Honor, I'm going to move for a motion for mistrial. The government knows that this answer is about to be that Mr. Combs has had other people killed, which has not been verified. This is an outrageous question. The court says he didn't say that, but he will say that, says Brian Steele. He hasn't said that, says the judge. Well, he's about to say it. I'm putting the court on notice. The judge says, no, you don't get to put me on notice. Oh, dang. There's no grounds for any kind of application along those lines because no question that you're talking about has been asked and the answer has not been given. This is a tough thing, y'all. You know, attorneys, and we've seen it, like to play this game to where they're asked a question they know is going to get sustained. And sometimes if it's their witness, the witness may answer quickly and the jury hears it, which is more important than an objection being sustained or overruled, right? So this is the game that's played. I don't think it's a gray area. I think it's just a part of the system and the way the legal system works. So Brian Steele's trying to get a preemptive strike and say, hey, I don't even want this question being asked because I don't want it in the jury's mind. And the judge is like, well, too bad. They haven't said it. And they're allowed to go down this line. So we'll see what happens moving forward. The judge was not feeling Brian Steele, obviously, as stated here. And then also, Brian Steele says, well, the judge asked, now, what is your objection to the question that was asked? Brian Steele said, why were you scared of Mr. Combs? And his answer is going to be because Mr. Combs is violent. He has had other people killed. Maybe a little bit of a reach there by Brian Steele. Y'all have to let me know what you think. The judge says his understanding of things that had happened and his understanding of that event is not about a 404A issue, which is what was raised, correct? Brian Steele says it's not going to be a 404 issue. It's not like that. Okay, we're going to the next page. The court says that was the objection that was raised. So what is the objection? Brian Steele says he called his friend. This is what is in the 3500. I know the court read it. He calls his friend who told him that Mr. Combs had had other people killed. Oh, so maybe Brian does have some grounds for this objection. I believe that he's going to answer why he was scared. I'm preempting it because I know the court. If he says it, it's going to be a problem, basically. All right. Well, shout out to Megan for that little insight. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to rewind a little bit and go back to what Kid Cudi actually said during his testimony. So again, big shout out to Inner City Press has been on top of this trial and live tweeting from the court proceedings every single day. Absolutely amazing work. So we read a little bit of this yesterday. We didn't get to finish the testimony. If y'all wanted to hear the initial testimony from Kid Cudi, make sure you go back and watch that video. I'll leave a link in the description. So we'll see what Kid Cudi, what else he had to say on the stand. All right. So before the jurors were back, there was a little conversation. The judge asked the state, will you finish with this witness today? The state says yes, though the cross of Mr. Kaplan was 3 times as long as we thought. And then the jury entered the room. The state says, was the damage on your car before the call from the dog sitter? Kid Cudi says no. Did you think it was an accident or intentional? Kid Cudi says it was definitely intentional. Where did you see Cassie? He said he saw her at the Soho house. I'd reached out to Diddy and said, let's talk. This is getting out of hand. Kid Cudi was tired of the back and forth. He didn't want any beef with Diddy. Don't blame him. And so this is where we are now. All right. So then Brian Steele's like, hey, can I have a sidebar? The judge says, do you have an objection? Yes. All right. The judge says it's sustained, disregard and move on. Jury, don't worry about that question. We're going to keep it moving. The state says, who set up the meeting at the Soho house? D-Rock and my manager. The state also says, what was Mr. Combs doing? What was Diddy doing? He was standing there like a Marvel supervillain. And then Kid Cudi laughs. He said, we were homies. You know, that's my girl. Basically, stay away from Cassie. So, come on, man. And what did you say? Kid Cudi says, I thought you had broken up. Then Diddy offered me some water twice. Interesting. Would you take water from somebody whose girl you took? I mean, like, nah, man, I'm good. Kid Cudi says, it was weird. Diddy was so calm. What did Cassie say? That we had fallen in love. Things happen. Oh. And then what did you say to Diddy? Kid Cudi says, what about my car? He said, I don't know what you're talking about. And Kid Cudi walked away. Did you see Diddy later? Kid Cudi says a few years later at the Soho House, he said, hey man, I'm sorry for all that BS. I was surprised, Kid Cudi says, so I found peace with it. No further questions at this time, says the state. The judge says, Brian Steele, you're up. Brian Steele says, I want to ask you some questions about your Porsche in 2022. 2012, says Kid Cudi. Brian Steele, I apologize. So you get a call about the damage to your vehicle. Any surveillance photos? No, says Kid Cudi. My dog's babysitter. All right. My dog's babysitter did send me pictures of the damage. Brian Steele says, the DNA taken. Are you aware it came back being female? Objection. No foundation, says the state. Sustained, says the judge. Do you know there were DNA results? The judge says, I'll allow that. Kid Cudi says, no, I didn't know that. Brian Steele says, Cassie told you that your relationship was over? Kid Cudi said, we just stopped talking. So you told this honorable court and this jury that she played you? Yes, says Kid Cudi. How did she played you and you had no clue? I had no clue, said Kid Cudi. I wonder what he means by that. So was Cassie using Kid Cudi to get back at Diddy? What does that mean he played him? I have no idea. Anyway, Brian Steele says, in 2011, you went on tour. Yes, says Kid Cudi. 65 locations? Yep. At the time, Diddy was an icon, fair to say? Yes. You and Cassie had a sexual relationship. Objection. And then there's a sidebar. After the sidebar, Kid Cudi says, Mr. Steele, can I? The judge says, no. You can do that on redirect. If you want to clarify, you're a witness for the state. Talk to them. Brian Steele says, do you want to tell me something? Kid Cudi says, Diddy asked about me doing a song with Cassie in 2010. Brian Steele said, thank you for that. So you mean he was helping Cassie's career? I appreciate that, Kid Cudi. Brian Steele says, you believe they left your front door? You believe that you left your front door unlocked? Kid Cudi says, yes. There was no forced entry, said Brian Steele. Nope. Just presents open, door in the bathroom. I'm not belittling, just asking you. You called Diddy? Yeah. He was calm? He sure was. You went to see him. You didn't think he had a gun? I couldn't call it, says Kid Cudi. You're a strong person. That's how you categorize yourself, right? Kid Cudi says, yeah, this crossed the line. Cassie told you that she was abused, right, Kid Cudi? Yes. Brian Steele says, but she never said she was sexually abused. Is that true? Kid Cudi said she did not. Brian Steele says, you loved her. Tell me if I'm wrong. Kid Cudi says, I did. Oh, boy. Brian Steele says, you got played by the same person who played Mr. Combs, Cassie Ventura. Oh, dang. Jeez. I'm surprised there wasn't an objection there. Maybe there was and we won't know. This is crazy. Brian Steele says, in the 13 years since, have you ever been notified in California that there has been any more action on this car fire? No, says Kid Cudi. Did Cassie have multiple phones? I don't remember. Brian Steele says 3512. If I said it, I said it. Brian Steele also says, do you know what a burner phone is? Kid Cudi says it's something that's untraceable. Brian Steele says the trespass. You call it a break-in. Cassie told you she'd given your home address to Diddy. Kid Cudi says yes, that morning. Brian Steele says, no more question, Your Honor. Thank you. No problem, says Kid Cudi. Is there a redirect? And then obviously the state does want to redirect. And they say, what did Cassie confide in you about the abuse? Kid Cudi says that he would hit her, sometimes kick her. The day of the break-in. Was she carefree? No, said Kid Cudi. What did Capricorn Clark tell you? Kid Cudi says Sean Combs and an affiliate forced her into a car to come to my house. I called the police. How would you describe Cassie that day? Kid Cudi said, just really shook. Him finding out about us makes sense. Why did your relationship with Cassie end? Kid Cudi said, the drama. It was getting out of hand. I wanted to give space. What drama? The break-in. For my safety. Her safety. Objection. What grounds? Says the judge. Speculation, says Brian Steele. Overruled. Why did you have safety concerns? Because I knew Sean Combs was violent. Your Honor, may we approach? And this is where the sidebar happens, where Brian Steele says, I know what's about to happen. Please don't allow this question in. Then we have that sidebar. Here's what happens next. The state says the meeting at the Soho House. Diddy said, I don't know what you're talking about with your car. Do you believe him? Objection, says Brian Steele. The judge says rephrase. What was your understanding about that? Kid Cudi says that he was lying. No further questions. The judge asks Brian Steele, any recross? Brian Steele says, no, Your Honor. The judge says, Mr. Muscuddy, Kid Cudi, you're done. All right, there it is. So let me know what y'all think about that initial testimony from Kid Cudi. Help the defense, hurt the defense, help the state, hurt the state, or was it really unnecessary? Obviously, with this being a RICO, all these little things, all these little stories, all this little testimony is going to go into the furtherance of the conspiracy. And specifically with this instance, we have a lot of insinuation pointing to the trafficking of Cassie. I don't know if y'all are seeing it or not. Let me know what you think about this in the comments and in the chat. And we've got over 600 of y'all in the building. Oh my goodness. Thank y'all for liking the video so far too. Dottie is up in here. Shout out to Dottie. Hope you're feeling well and hopefully you're getting some rest. Good to see you in here as always. And we have a couple more super chats I'm going to read and we're going to keep it moving. Let me see. I got to make sure I didn't miss anybody. We've got Kara Hampton in here on a Friday. She says with the five bomb, good morning, good Friday morning. Make it great on purpose as always. Absolutely. Shout out to Smokies. He said happy 59th birthday. Oh man, 58. But thank you, Smokey. I appreciate it. Also, who else we got? We've got Kara in here as well. Says happy birthday, ClassE. Hope you have a great weekend. Thank you so much. And I definitely will. I'm going to make it great on purpose, Kara, with the 20 bomb. Thank you so much. Mr. Brown is in here. He said, wishing you many more. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And I think I got everybody. All right, y'all give me 1 second. My sinuses decided to act up today. So give me a second, y'all. Whew, sometimes it be like that. Shout out to the South, man. We out here. We out here. Thank y'all for being patient with me too. Dr. EJ's in the building, gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for the love, Dr. EJ. And thank y'all for the happy birthdays. My official birthday is tomorrow. And actually, I'm glad that y'all brought this up. Usually we have a live stream on Friday nights. The live stream for tonight is going to be moved to tomorrow. So we are going to have a birthday live stream tomorrow. Y'all make sure you tune in for that. We're going to be listening to some music from the artists in the community. We're going to be giving away some cash. It's going to be a great time. So it'll be tomorrow at probably 9:30. So make sure you look out for that. I'll put the thumbnail up here within the next hour or so y'all can mark it, so you can save it, so you can get ready for the live stream tomorrow. So for all my Song of the Night live people, make sure that you tap in tomorrow night at 9:30 because we will not be live tonight. All right. So thank y'all for the birthday wishes. Also, shout out to Mr. Brown is up in here, says happy birthday, brother. Appreciate you, man. Always praying for you, Mr. Brown. And hopefully you're doing well too. Thank you for the support. Who else did I see in here? Did I miss any of the members? Shout out to all the members in the building, man. We got Chris Easter in here, Melissa R saying happy birthday. Yeah, it's my 58th birthday tomorrow. It's crazy. Goes by quick. Happy birthday, ClassE, and happy Friday, yay, everyone else. Have a blessed weekend, relax, and spend time with the family and friends you know I will. And thank you, CPE, for the 5 bomb. Thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we've got a couple more topics to get into. I know I told y'all this was going to be a quick live stream today, so let me update the headline and we'll get into it. We're going to talk a little bit more about Diddy, and I've actually got a Karen Reed topic for y'all today. Now, this Karen Reed topic we're going to get to later might get a little spicy, so y'all just hang in there. Again, thank y'all so much for the birthday wishes and support. Y'all amazing, man. If you haven't yet, like the video. Likes are free. Y'all know what to do. All right, here we go. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to get into this video from ABC News where they're covering some of the things that went on during the Diddy trial yesterday and what we're going to be looking forward to today's coverage. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens next and what the take is here on Kid Cudi's testimony and how that is going to apply to Diddy moving forward. Y'all check this out.
Hi, I'm Eva Pilgrim. Thanks for streaming with us. Week 2 of testimony in the trial against hip-hop mogul Sean Diddy Combs wrapping up today with witnesses, including the general manager of a luxury Beverly Hills hotel on the stand. The jury also hearing from rapper Kid Cudi today. He testified about a break-in at his house, at one point comparing Combs to a Marvel supervillain. The rapper, whose real name is Scott Muscudi, also testifying about his car being set on fire, allegedly after Combs found out he was dating Cassie Ventura. Now, prosecutors allege Combs firebombed Muscudi's car, an allegation they could try to weave into the racketeering conspiracy count involving arson. Now, Combs has pleaded not guilty to all charges. Also today, Diddy's former assistant, who was granted immunity, testifying about what he claims he saw happen on a private plane and an apple-throwing incident that he called the last straw working for Diddy. Coming up, Kid Cudi's message for fans after his big day in court. Plus, it's one of the most searched topics tonight, what people want to know about Kid Cudi's dog. I want to get right to Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katersky, who has been in the courtroom every day of this trial. Aaron, let's get right into Kid Cudi appearing in court. Paint the picture for us. How did he walk in?
Unlike any other witness that we have seen so far, he's in a leather jacket, white T-shirt, jeans, and smoking a cigarette as he's entering court. And then he takes his position comfortably in the witness box, surveys the room. The jury is interested in this figure because he's a Grammy-winning rapper and introduced himself as Scott Muscudi. And when asked, are you better known as any other name? And he said, Kid Cudi. And right from the start, you knew this was a unique witness. And he talked about 2 instances in particular where he said that Sean Combs broke into his house, and he told the jury about his suspicions that later Sean Combs arranged the firebombing of his car.
Okay, Aaron, give us his vibe. What was he like on the stand? How did the jury react to all of this?
He was pretty casual. If he didn't understand something, he'd look at the lawyer and just go, huh? Or what? And at one point he let out a big yawn when he's talking about things that, you know, have been talked about in the entertainment world for more than a decade. This car fire that Kid Cudi endured in 2012. But it's significant now, Eva, as federal prosecutors try to convince the jury that Sean Combs used arson as part of the criminal enterprise that he was running.
There was a whole scuttlebutt about if he could talk about what happened to his dog. What was that all about?
Oh, so he accuses Sean Combs of breaking into his house after he finds out that he's dating Cassie Ventura. And he says when he got to the house, he found some Christmas gifts open, unwrapped, that he had bought for his family, and his dog locked up in the bathroom. And he said it made the dog kind of permanently jittery and very much on edge. I think federal prosecutors had wanted to know a little bit about the dog and how the dog responded to the house being broken into. And the judge at one point, because the defense objected, was confused, saying, like, you're going to talk about the trauma inflicted on the dog, and the judge said, well, I know this is a very important topic. He laughed a little bit, and unfortunately, the prosecutor said the dog is no longer with us. But Kid Cudi's clearly a dog lover.
That's tough.
He said that he found out from his dog's babysitter, the words he used, that his car was on fire. One early morning phone call that he received from this woman
a wild dude, man.
to say that his porch had been torched.
Cassie Ventura's former makeup artist was also on the stand today. What did she say?
Mila Morales said she first met Cassie Ventura, Eva, when she was about 16 years old. She had made her up for various events over the years, but she recalled Grammy Award weekend in 2010. She said they had been out, Prince was having a party, they were out for dinner, they finally get back to the Beverly Hills Hotel. Mila Morales falls asleep, but she says Cassie Ventura comes in a moment later, and almost immediately followed by Sean Combs. And Sean Combs demands, where the F is she? Cassie Ventura had gone into the bedroom. Sean Combs followed her in there. Mila Morales says she heard screaming and a commotion. Sean Combs storms out of the hotel suite. And when Mila Morales next sees Cassie Ventura, she has a black eye, knots on her head. She took her home and had a doctor friend come and examine her to see if she had a concussion. The doctor apparently recommended that Cassie Ventura go to the ER, but Morales said she didn't want to go.
We also heard from the general manager of an upscale Beverly Hills hotel on the stand today. He talked about hotel logs. Why?
This was from L'Hermitage in Beverly Hills, and Sean Combs had stayed there a bunch over the years, according to the reservation log. And with each guest that was a repeat visitor, there was what was called a profile log established. And under the heading for Sean Combs, it said that housekeepers had noticed that there was always candle wax all over the place, and that he used a lot of oil. And the jury had already heard candle wax, baby oil, those were things for the freak-offs.
Aaron Kotursky for us there at the courthouse. Thank you so much, Aaron.
I know what to say. Can y'all imagine having to clean that up? That hotel staff was probably like, man, Diddy's here again. Dang. You know what it's going to be.
Legal contributor Brian Buckmeyer was also in court today. You were here to break this all down for us. Okay, so it was a big day in court. What stood out to you?
So we all showed up for Kid Cudi. We knew he was going to testify, but I did not expect this quote from Kid Cudi. It came in the context of there was some back and forth between him and Sean Combs. He wasn't responding to him in terms of whether or not he was dating Cassie. His car gets Molotov cocktailed. He shows up at the Soho house to try to kind of squash the beef, so to speak, with Combs. And he says this is what Combs is doing. He's standing there staring at the window with his hands behind his back like a Marvel supervillain. It got a couple laughs in the court, but also painted this very menacing and very awkward kind of encounter between Sean Combs and Kid Cudi in relation to who's dating Cassie.
We also have to talk about this alleged car bombing situation. What did Kid Cudi say happened here?
So a number of things, right? A little bit of context. Prior to this alleged arson, there is an alleged burglary that Kid Cudi says.
Look at this picture. That is insane, man. So it looks like it just melted straight through. Oh, wow.
Sean Combs is participating in. Someone calls him by the name of Miss Clark saying, Combs is in your home. He calls Combs. He's like, where are you? I'm here. I'm going to come see you, whatever it may be. And a few days later, this happens.
Hell
the cut
no
of the top of
like
his Porsche and a Molotov cocktail inside. We saw some charring on the inside of that vehicle. And we've heard this from Cassie's civil lawsuit and this case when she testified before, that this was meant to be a threat, according to her, of Sean Combs towards Kid Cudi.
And we should say that we heard Kid Cudi on the stand say when they talked about this, Combs denied having anything to do with this apparent situation. Okay, so on the cross, the defense seemed to really push Kid Cudi on his relationship with Cassie. What was that all about?
So the sense that I got was that she's playing into this relationship with Kid Cudi and Sean Combs. That Sean Combs, as we heard, was on a break with Cassie, and then they started dating Kid Cudi and her. And what the defense was getting at was, well, she lied to you. She played you. That they weren't really on again, off again, but in fact they were still dating, and you didn't know this. And the entire time you were dating, Sean Combs never interrupted this relationship, never got involved. He didn't know he was in the scene at all. And I think what they're trying to get at is Cassie was free to leave. She was free to have her own relationship, and Sean Combs wasn't intersecting with that. And also this idea that she was manipulative in some way, shape, or form, saying the words that, well, Cassie played not only you, but also Sean Combs, and Kid Cudi agreed.
We also have to talk about the former assistant who got the immunity from yesterday. He was back on the stand this morning. Did he say anything to you that made sense for the immunity deal here?
No. And this is one of the reasons why I woke up so early and showed up, because in my mind, I practice in the Southern District of New York. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you going to give this person immunity for? Meaning that they cannot be prosecuted based on what they say, that is so great that you're waiting for them. And it wasn't really much. 3 different interactions of assault, 2 between Cassie, 1 between Gina, and the fact that he bought some drugs, not as much as I thought it'd be.
Okay, so we've got the
interesting. So they gave this guy immunity. I wonder if they're going to bring him back at some point, because if they gave him full immunity for his testimony and there wasn't much there, it seems like there wasn't really a point. Unless he just said, I'm not talking unless you guys give it to me. So here we go.
This long weekend that's happening. Court's not in session tomorrow. It's not in session on Monday. How do you think that impacts both sides of this case?
It's all about what the jury's going to be left with, thinking about in the last few words they've heard. They heard about the wax and the baby oil, the strawberry and the chocolates, the abuse allegations from the Grammy of 2010. And of course, the last thing they heard is about an HSI investigator talking about extracting information from 3 of Cassie's laptops. Those are going to be the last things in their mind over the next 4 days, because they're off tomorrow as well.
Yeah, back in court on Tuesday. Brian Buckmeyer, thank you so much. Well,
yeah, and it looks like everybody's going to be back in court on Tuesday, even with the Karen Reed. So y'all know we're going to continue to cover this. I think it's interesting, some of the testimony that we're getting to hear. Obviously, a former assistant of Diddy. We're hearing from Cassie's makeup artist, but still, I'm trying to find Rico. I'm trying to find trafficking. I think I keep missing it. I know a lot of y'all are getting upset with my takes, especially when it comes to Cassie in the comments, but yeah, somebody has to let me see it, because so far from the evidence we've seen a lot of disgusting, disgraceful things done by Diddy, but I'm not seeing trafficking, and I'm not seeing it as a Rico. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Also, I see y'all in here showing major support, man. We got a couple other super chats. Y'all are amazing, man. Shout out to Coco, Curious Coco, New York with the 10 bomb, says, happy long weekend, classy fam. And remember, those who fought for our freedom so we can do things like talk smack about justice, and happy birthday. Thank you so much. Thank you to all our servicemen and women and those who paid the ultimate sacrifice to give us our freedom that we have here in America, the greatest country on earth. And it's not even close. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mom, dad, grandpa, all my aunts and uncles that serve. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for y'all. And thank you for all that you do. All right. We've got Slim Life New Jersey in here. Oh my goodness, with the 50 bomb. She said, turn down for what? Happy birthday, Classy. I hope you have a wonderful birthday weekend. As always, thank you and Amy for all that you do. You make it possible for us to be here. Amazing channel, amazing chat. All of my CEB family, let's get it. Love y'all. Thank you so much, Slim Life. Slim Life is in here every single show, showing some major support and love. So thank you for that, Slim Life. I hope you have a great weekend as well. And it's gonna be sad. I'm not gonna get to see y'all later this afternoon, but make sure y'all stop by the show on Saturday night. It's gonna be a fun time. We're gonna have a good time. Thank you so much. And shout out to Amy here with the cake and birthday celebration. I appreciate you. Also, did I miss anybody else? I don't think I did. I think we should be good. So thank you again for the super chats. I appreciate y'all. We've got one more topic to get to, and then I'm going to let y'all get up out of here. I told you guys it was going to be a quick one, but I couldn't go another day without talking about Karen Reed. Y'all know this Karen Reed trial has been absolutely insane. And oh man, I already have a feeling I know how this is going to go, but we're going to listen to a reaction from Court TV. They're going to be talking about what happened in the last day that we were live for the Karen Reed trial, which was day 19, and what that's going to look like moving forward. We may get into and talk about our favorite witness testimonies so far here on this channel from the good doctor, Dr. Wolf, and just get a breakdown of what happened on that final day. So let's see and get some insight from Court TV. Y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments in the chat, and like the video on your way in if you haven't yet.
The retrial of Karen Reed, accused of killing her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, began on April 1st, 2025, following a 2024 mistrial due to a hung jury. Prosecutors allege that after a night of drinking, Reed dropped O'Keefe off at fellow officer Brian Albert's home in Canton, Massachusetts, and intentionally struck him with her SUV, leaving him to die in the snow. They cite evidence such as broken taillight fragments and John O'Keefe's DNA on Karen Reed's vehicle. The defense contends that O'Keefe was fatally injured inside the house and that Karen Reed is being framed in a cover-up involving law enforcement. They point to alleged investigative misconduct by former lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, who was later fired for inappropriate behavior.
Can we take a second? Can we get tomatoes in the chat and in the comments for Michael Proctor, please? This guy.
Lead investigator, Trooper Michael Proctor, who was later fired for inappropriate behavior during this investigation. And now, as the prosecution gets close to wrapping their case, more important expert testimony and some unexpected jury drama. Tonight, we have all the latest and all the big moments as the retrial of the century continues.
I'm Vinny Politan. Thank you so much for joining us tonight here on Closing Arguments.
Vinny, here we go.
Let's take a moment to think about the big picture now in this retrial of the century. And there is one central question to it all, and it's about Boston police officer John O'Keefe. How did he die?
It's a good question.
How did he die? This is not an easy question to answer. I'm going to explain why in just a moment. But if you speak to folks online, posting comments in chat rooms, etc., depending upon which side you're on, both sides believe it's an easy question. And if you dare say you believe something else,
that's true,
you get attacked. You're not smart. You don't get it. Both sides in this, whether you fall on the Karen Reed side or the prosecution side, when you ask that question, how did he die? They say it's obvious. It's obvious. Well, obviously it's not obvious. We saw that in 2024. 12 people who had one job, which was to figure out what happened and deliver a verdict, could not deliver a verdict.
That's true.
That is the best evidence of all that this is not obvious and this is not an easy question to answer.
Okay, Vinny.
How did Officer John O'Keefe die? Well, Karen Reed knows the truth about whether or not she backed up her SUV and struck him on purpose. She knows the answer to that question. There is no doubt. She knows. Now, she has denied it publicly. People on the other side are going to accuse her of lying. But we know that she knows the truth about whether she did or did not purposely back up that SUV and hit John O'Keefe. But she didn't testify in the first trial, and it's likely she won't testify here in the second trial. Now, the second trial, they are playing clips of interviews that she did, but an interview is much different than testifying and being cross-examined live in front of a jury.
Yep.
It's way different. And this is one of the reasons that, again, this is not an easy question, because someone who knows whether or not she did what prosecutors accused her of likely will not testify in this case.
Who's that?
Now, former trooper Michael Proctor knows the truth about whether or not he framed Karen Reed. He knows. He's denied it, but people on the other side will say he's lying about that.
I hope we get to hear from
Now,
him.
Trooper Michael Proctor knows the answer to that question, to the allegation that's coming from the defense. But guess what? Doesn't look like he's testifying either. So, if the person who knows whether or not this was a frame job, and the person who knows whether or not she struck him on purpose, and neither one of them are testifying in this case for this jury, does that make this question of how he died easier or more difficult for the jury? More difficult.
I agree.
Will they figure it out? Will they figure it out this time? Well, one way that the prosecution wants them to figure this all out is from digital evidence and expert testimony. Prosecutors are relying on that, and the defense is relying on that as well. And we've got battle of the experts going, different interpretations of evidence. You know, clips of Karen Reed that can be interpreted more than one way.
She shouldn't have talked.
Like I said at the top, it's not an easy question, despite the fact of what both sides will tell you is an obvious answer. If you're being honest, it's not obvious. And it was difficult in the first trial, and it may be more difficult in the second trial.
Dang.
Matt Johnson, Court TV crime and justice correspondent, was in the courtroom today and has more for us tonight from Dedham.
Hey, Vinny, a big day of testimony here in Dedham. Week 5 ends with a new witness on a stand, the neurosurgeon.
Did you have an opportunity to review photographs of a laceration to Mr. John O'Keefe's head?
Yes, I did.
Do you have an opinion to a reasonable degree of medical certainty whether this injury, the laceration and the basal fracture, was caused by Mr. O'Keefe falling backwards on the ground?
My opinion is that that's what caused his whole injury.
Dr. Azik Wolf was a much anticipated witness. He analyzed John O'Keefe's injuries and determined his head injury was from a fall backwards. On cross, he was asked about John O'Keefe's eye injury.
Raccoon eyes, the medical term for that, sir, is ecchymosis, right?
Correct.
Ecchymosis, raccoon eyes, does not cause a laceration to form on an eyelid, does it?
No.
Day 20 started with concern from the court, which prompted all 18 jurors to be questioned individually by the judge, and the reason is still unknown.
I do need to stress for you that it's very, very important that no one discuss this case. Don't let anyone talk to you about the case. No comments about the case. You've seen how hard the lawyers have worked to pull this case together for you, and everybody's given it so much time. So please, let's make sure that we follow that.
The day ended with testimony about microscopic pieces of plastic consistent with the taillight found in debris with Officer O'Keefe's clothing.
With reference to the red plastic from item 7-18.18 from Mr. O'Keefe's clothing, in your comparison of that red plastic with the red plastic from the passenger side taillight of the defendant's vehicle, item 3-1, what did you conclude from that analysis?
So the red plastic that I sampled from item from the debris from the clothing from 7-18.18 was found to be consistent in color, microscopic appearance, and instrumental properties with the portions that I sampled from the red plastic from the taillight. So accordingly, the red plastic from item 7-18.18 could have originated from the red plastic that I sampled from the taillight. It could have come from, they could have a common origin, or it could have come from another source with the same characteristics.
Right. So in other words, another way to say that, Ms. Hanley, is it may have come from the taillight, may not have.
Outside the courthouse, Karen Reed had this to say. Take a listen. Wrapping up week 5, how do you feel?
I feel great. I'm anxious. I'm ready to put on our case, which will be more robust than it was last year. So I'm anxious for everyone to learn what we know.
And court is dark tomorrow through the long holiday weekend, but testimony will continue on Tuesday. Vinny?
All right, Matt Johnson in Dedham, Massachusetts. And again, talking about the jury gets a few extra days off. Well, there was some jury drama today, so let's talk about it. Let's bring in our think tank live in studio, criminal defense attorney Daryl Cohen, criminal defense attorney and law professor Meg Strickler, and family law attorney and law professor Randy Kessler. Great to see everyone tonight.
Good to be here.
Let's talk about this. Let's take a listen to the judge, because something happened before court. We got an extended shot of the fan in the ceiling because it's all happening at sidebar. Let's take a listen to Judge Canoni.
So an issue has come to my attention that is going to make it necessary that I talk to each one of you individually over at sidebar with counsel. So that process will take a little while. So I'm going to, don't speculate as to what I'm going to talk to you about. Please, when you go back to the deliberation room, talk about anything but this case, and I'll see each of you individually, and the process may take
yeah, and y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments too. What do you think happened here? I think we had some idea and we saw some speculation from other places, but what do you think actually happened with the jury? Because I'm still trying to find out.
The cameras will be shut off, and I'm going to talk to the lawyers about whether we clear the court.
Okay, so the jury was told not to speculate about what this is all about, but we can. Okay,
Exactly.
How unusual is it in the middle of a trial to bring in the jurors one at a time to talk about whatever?
If Tom Jones was singing, he would say it's not unusual. I say it's extremely unique and extremely unusual. Obviously, something of major importance has taken place, and the judge wants to stop it yesterday.
Go ahead. The question is, if something unusual happened, did you do anything about it, right? When it's on appeal, judge, you knew about this and you didn't do anything. Now she's got an answer. I did something. I talked to them and I figured it out and I was okay with it. It's a judgment call. Sounds like she did the right thing, whatever the issue was.
It turns out, like, if it's something that's going to be mistrial level, you know, we don't know. Was somebody influencing them? Were they paid? Did they post something? Did they text somebody? It'll come out in the future, but it
how about
depends.
the fact that it's all
right, so they don't know either. We're all just speculating at this point. Let me know what y'all think about this and what what do you think about the last day we saw in this case so far? Because Karen Reed even seemed to somewhat take shots at the good Dr. Wolf about his testimony and how, if anything, it doesn't make sense for a guy who studies living, functioning brains for a living to talk about what a dead brain would look like and the damage there. So if anything, she said she felt like it helped them. Also, we've got this issue with the jury. We're going to find out later what that means. So much going on here. Let me know what y'all think about this in the comments and in the chat. Interesting stuff. And again, thank y'all so much for the love, man. Shout out to Grace. The most amazing Dottie ever. I appreciate you. We're going to talk about Grace here in a second. But y'all are showing super major love up in here. Dottie in the building with the 10 bomb. She says, with the super sticker, #1 fan. I'm telling y'all, this is a special girl. Special woman right there. Thank you, Grace, for the love and support. So proud of you. So thankful for you. And just keep being amazing. I know you can't help yourself. But shout out to Grace. Thank you for the love and support and for always being here. It's always great to see you in the chat. We've got Ducky Dexter in the building with the 5 bomb. Happy birthday, Mr. ClassE. Enjoy your birthday weekend. And Miss Amy. Hey, Miss Amy, enjoy. Shout out to Amy in there as well as always. Thank y'all so much. And thank you again to all 300 plus of you that have liked the video. If y'all could, make sure you like the video before we leave. I know it was a quick live stream. We got a lot going on this weekend, but I hope y'all have an amazing Memorial Day weekend. We don't miss, guys. So we're going to be back here on Monday. Do not worry. So we'll be here on Memorial Day. As I mentioned before, we're going to be having a live stream this Saturday at about 9:30. So you guys don't want to miss out on that, especially if you enjoy hearing some music from the independent artists here in the community. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a great time. Thank y'all again for the love and support, for all the happy birthday wishes. We're going to be back here tomorrow for that birthday stream. So it's going to be a fun time. Let me read a couple more comments and then we're going to get up out of here. Shout out to Penny Neal with the 10 bomb and the super sticker. Thank you so much, Penny, for the support. I appreciate you. And y'all are saying the good doctor oh, okay, here we go. The good doctor should have said, hit a hard surface, not hit the ground. That insinuates outside to me. I don't think he knows. He didn't even observe the body. So as much as I enjoyed hearing Dr. Wolf's testimony, just from a pure professional standpoint, I don't think it moved the needle in any way at all. As someone who could be a potential juror, because you know, the one thing I love about this type of content is you've got two sides of things. Well, three sides. Obviously, you have the defendant and everyone who's actually participating in the court proceedings. But you have two sides of spectators, right? You have the lawyers who are the professionals who know how the court proceedings go. They know all the little things and the little objections that are said. And then you have the court of public opinion, which are the potential jurors, people like you and me who are just looking at this and observing it as someone who could be sitting on the jury saying, well, this is what we're hearing and this is what we're seeing. And it's great because the lawyers can't tell us how to feel. Although they're the professionals and they've been doing this for 10, 20, 30 years, they can't tell us how to feel because at the end of the day, the jurors are the ones who decide if this person is guilty or not. And I think that's why not only have we been able to predict the outcome of a lot of these cases, whether it was ASAP Rocky, YSL, what was going on with Jason Levesque, we covered that. What happened with, I don't want to talk about that trial. Either way, it's been fun to see that dynamic play out because at the end of the day, the power lies within those 12 people who are going to be deliberating at the end of the trial. So we do have, I think our voice is important. One, because we can help out current and past and future attorneys by giving our perspective and how we see things. And also, it'll be interesting to see. And I love hearing the feedback from you guys as to what you're seeing from both sides of the argument. So I appreciate y'all for being a part of this conversation. I love it. I enjoy it. I love the law so much. I'm not patient enough to go to law school, but I'm glad that we get to be a part of this and have these types of conversation because as many of you know, it does affect a lot of us. So Either way, thank y'all for the support, man. I hope you all have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we are going to be back here tomorrow night at 9:30. So make sure y'all tune in for that. Like the video on your way out. Subscribe if you haven't yet, so you don't miss any time that we go live or drop a new video. I appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your afternoon. And as always, you know what to do. Keep growing, keep pushing, keep it classy. We go. Peace.